If you're looking at buying a home in Newberg, Oregon, there's a good chance that you're probably wanting to know what the best neighborhoods are to live in. So in this video, I'm breaking down Newberg into 10 different neighborhoods or areas to help you decide if each one is a place where you'd want to live. Now, these aren't official neighborhood names. There aren't really official breakdowns like there are in Portland for Newberg. So these are names that I have come up with just from my experience living here that made the most sense. And obviously this map is homemade, so please don't judge. It actually took me a surprisingly long time to make it. And so I decided rather than make it perfect, I just wanted to show you an idea of what these areas in Newberg are like. So I'm going to start with the most affordable areas and neighborhoods and then move on to the most expensive. And before I get started, I want to give a huge shout out to Tiger Title for helping me compile all this data and Jungle Media for helping provide me with some of the B-roll footage. All right, so first up is South Newberg. So this is the southern part of Newberg below the city center, and this is where a lot of Newberg's original homes are. If you are looking for a more affordable home in Newberg, there's a good chance that this is an area that you'll be looking in. Also, if you're specifically looking for a 2-bedroom home in Newberg, this is where you're going to find a lot of those 2-bedroom homes because most 2-bedroom homes are a bit older. In South Newberg, you're going to find Edwards Elementary School and also Renee Park, which is one of the biggest parks and fields in Newberg, and it's a great place to go, play sports games. There's a little track there, and they're actually doing a huge remodel project. CPRD is doing a huge remodel of that park, putting in turf, so that's going to be a really nice spot. There's also quite a few duplexes, so if you're looking to house hack, South Newberg is a good place to look. All right, next up is the Springbrook neighborhood. And actually Springbrook is where I'm walking right now and filming this. And Springbrook is really broken up into 3 parts the way that I look at it. Now, the first part is where I am. These are a lot of homes that were built in the 1980s, 1990s. And these are your typical, a lot of them are like 1 level, 3 beds, 2 baths, 15 to 1800 square feet. And this is a fairly desirable area. 1, because it's fairly close to if you're commuting to Portland, and 2, if you want to be close to Newberg High School, which is where this is. The next part of Springbrook is Crestview Crossing. This is one of the newer developments that was built over the past several years. And these are a lot of homes that are really tightly spaced together. A lot of them are 3 stories. You also have some apartment buildings over there, and there's also some commercial sectors. So there's several hundred homes over there. I don't remember the exact number, but that's a really popular area for first-time home buyers. And the third part of Springbrook is the areas that are a little bit outside the city limits. So as you start getting a little bit farther from town, you have some nicer homes on larger parcels for those of you looking for a little bit more space and maybe want a little bit of a view. One of the other great things about the Springbrook neighborhood is it has some great parks. It's very walkable, even though some of the sidewalks are a bit older. It's a great place to go, and if you got kids walking a stroller or biking, and it's pretty quiet, especially in this area. There's not really a lot of traffic here. All right, next up is Newberg's city center. Now this is right in the middle of Newberg, and you have a lot of homes that are really desirable because even though they're older, they're right next to George Fox, they're right next to downtown. So for people who really want to be able to walk easily to downtown, or they want rentals for students, a lot of people are looking to get a home in the downtown city center area. This is another area that's really walkable. Obviously, you can get right to downtown. You got the library right there. You have George Fox University, and you have the Cultural Center. And the Cultural Center is where almost all of the big events and festivals in Newberg happen. So you've got the Camellia Festival, you got different wine festivals, you got the Christmas tree lighting. So being able to be right there and just walk to all that's happening. You also have the downtown First Fridays. So that's a great place if you really like being able to walk to coffee shops and things like that. Next up is the Foothills. Now the Foothills is really a collection of your kind of classic suburban neighborhoods. Now there's a lot of different specific neighborhoods that have their own names, but a lot of people, if you just talk about the Foothills, going up College Street on 219 on the east and west side, most people will kind of recognize that area. So in the Foothills, you're going to have a lot of homes that range in the $500,000 to $700,000 range. You've got a lot of homes that are going to be, normal 2-story homes, 2,500 square feet, have a little bit of a yard, really just kind of a great move up home for people who maybe they bought their first time home. Now they have some kids, they want a yard, they want safe streets and that kind of thing. So that's a pretty desirable area without most of the homes being like too expensive. Now, that said, there are some smaller homes in that area, some older homes. There's kind of a, some of the homes over there are brand new. You got some homes that are part of the original homes in Newberg, but many of those were built in like the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. Throughout the different neighborhoods, you've got really great walkability, great sidewalks, again, quiet streets, a lot of small playgrounds that are great for kids. And there's also Crater Elementary School, which is a pretty desirable school up in the area. Also, Joanne Austin School, which is another good elementary school. The other thing you'll get in the foothills is a brand new subdivision called Collina at Springbrook, which is funny because I'm calling it Foothills and they're calling it Springbrook because it's part of the Springbrook Master Plan, which I don't have time to get into in this video. Basically, that section of the Springbrook Master Plan is going to have about 400 homes built over the next several years. Now, these are built by Polish Homes, who's actually a pretty good home builder. Many of these homes are going to be in the $500,000 to $700,000 range. So these are going to be kind of your classic, 3-bed to 4-bed, 2.5 bath type thing, 1,500 all the way up to 2,500 square feet for the most part. There's also going to be a community center. There's going to be a pool, an exercise facility. And one of the cool projects is they're building a whole like nature reserve along Hess Creek. So there's going to be like walking trails to the woods by the creek. It's going to be a really beautiful area. Homes are already for sale there and they're actually starting to go fairly quick. So if that's something you're interested in, you can reach out to us. I'd be happy to answer any of your questions about that and even help show you some homes. All right, next up is Dundee. Now, Dundee is technically not Newberg, but most people really consider Newberg, Dundee part of the same community. For example, we have the same school district and we have the same police department, and Dundee is really only a couple miles away from Newberg. So really, you can get to Dundee faster from the city center than you can in parts of the foothills. So in Dundee, it's really split into two main parts. The south side of Dundee is really going to be a lot more like the south part of Newberg. You're going to have more affordable homes. They're going to be older homes, and it honestly kind of looks a bit like this neighborhood. On the north side of Dundee, and it's kind of like the northwest side of 99, you have a hill that starts to go all the way up. So in the Dundee Hills, that's when you start getting nicer homes that are a bit more expensive. They have great views over the valley, and it's a pretty desirable place. Some people think because it's a small area that homes are a bit cheaper, but as you get to the north part of Dundee, there really are some pretty nice homes up there. And if you want to learn more about Dundee and how Dundee compares to Newberg, I did a whole video about that you can watch here. All right, next up is Southeast Newberg. Now, Southeast Newberg has a lot of Newberg's like industrial and commercial sector, and there's kind of three distinct neighborhoods within Southeast Newberg. The first neighborhood is called Orchards Lair, even though most people don't really call it that. These were homes built mostly in the early 2000s. Some of them are fairly tightly packed together. Some of them are a bit spaced apart. But a lot of these are great homes for first-time home buyers or someone who just wants kind of your typical 1,500 to 1,800 square foot, 3-bedroom or 4-bedroom home. One of the great things about this neighborhood is it's right next to Friends Park, which is, I think it's like 7 acres, if I had that right. But there's a great little trail that goes around it. There's a playground, there's a huge field, which is great for dogs. So a lot of people love that neighborhood and that park specifically for that. The next neighborhood within Southeast Newberg is the Oaks. Now the Oaks has a lot of bigger homes. So you'll have homes that are, 2,800 square feet, 3 and 4 bedrooms. It's really a great home, again, kind of that step up home for families, and it's one of the more desirable neighborhoods in Newberg. Similar to the Oaks is another neighborhood called the Greens. Now this is probably the nicest neighborhood as far as like suburban neighborhood style homes go. You have a lot of homes over 3,000 square feet, 4 and 5 bedrooms. Yards aren't huge, but this is a neighborhood that's right along the golf course, hence the name the Greens, and all the streets have some kind of golf type name. The golf course even goes like in the middle of the neighborhood. So if you're a golfer, it's great. But also if you just want like a nice neighborhood home, a lot of these homes again go like $800,000 to $900,000. but it is a really great, walkable, safe neighborhood. Funny enough, kind of the way I think about the greens and the oaks, in the game Monopoly, you have your yellow properties and your green properties that they're not as nice as Park Place and Boardwalk, but I kind of see the greens as the green properties and the oaks as the yellow properties, if that kind of gives you a framework. All right, next up is Sunnycrest, and this is where we actually start moving outside of the suburban, like in-town part of Newberg to the rural part. So Sunnycrest is basically the rural flatlands of Newberg. The main idea is you're going to have often a bit older homes. A lot of them are fairly nice homes, but they're going to be on land for the most part. All of them are going to be on usually an acre or more. You're going to have probably a shop. You might have other outbuildings. The main point is if you want to be close to the city, but not be like in the middle of it, and you want land and space, Sunnycrest is a great place to check out. Next on the list, we have Dayton Avenue. Now, Dayton Avenue is the road in the section that on the south side connects Newberg to Dundee. So the main point here, you're going to have, again, a lot more nice homes. A lot of them are going to be on land, but they're going to be really close to town. So one of the great gems of Dayton Avenue is Hidden Meadows. And this is a bunch of, some people might call them mansions, not really mansions, but they're just really nice homes. Most of them range between $1 to $1.5 million. These are, again, much bigger homes, nicer homes on a bit of land. So bottom line, if you're looking for a really nice home right outside of town, this Dayton Avenue neighborhood is going to be a good place to check out. All right, next on the list, we're going to start moving up to the mountains on Chehalem Mountain. Now, Chehalem Mountain, it's going to be fairly similar to Sunnycrest, except you're going to have nice views. So you've got a lot of big homes, lots of property up in the mountain, amazing views of the valley. This is a great spot if you are just looking for a nice bigger home with great views over the valley. A lot of these homes are a bit older, so if you're looking for a project home and want to buy a home and you could put some work into it and have a really nice home on the mountain, that is a great place to look. And of course, there are also just really nice homes that you can find up there. So the Chehalem Mountains are to the north of Newberg, and to the east of Newberg, we have Parrett Mountain. Now, Parrett Mountain, I think really the divider, it might not actually be correct on the map, but the main divider is that when you go to the south of Highway 99, that is Parrett Mountain. So Parrett Mountain is a lot like Chehalem Mountain, except the main difference is you're just going to have, on average, bigger, nicer homes with a bit more land. So you've got a lot of like horse properties, you have like big parcels of land, some farmland up there. One of the things to be aware of is because it's on a mountain, many of the lots have big portions of them that aren't exactly usable. So you have like steep slopes that are just full of, brush and woods. But in general, you have some of the nicest homes in the area on Parrett Mountain, also of course on Chehalem Mountain. Again, these have absolutely stunning views of the valley. So if that's something that's important to you, both of those areas of Newberg are absolutely ones that you want to check out. So I'm curious, if you're moving to Newberg, whether you're here or moving to the area, which neighborhood would you want to move in? I'd be interested in seeing your thoughts in the comment section. And of course, I am a real estate agent, and my real estate team, the Joyful Roberts Group, we specialize in helping people move to Newberg all the time. So if you want a great agent who's going to communicate well, advocate for you, help you find a great home, negotiate on your behalf, please reach out to us. We have an amazing relocation guide, and we have a buyer guide that we would love to share with you and help you get settled in Newberg, get connected here, and I think you'll learn to love the town as much as I do. If you want to learn more about Newberg, there's a couple of videos that are popping up right now that you can check out, and these will really help you get a better feel of what it's actually like living here and why I think this is such a great town. Well, I hope you found this video helpful. Again, please reach out. I'd be happy to answer your questions and help you find a home here. Well, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.